Hey team, how's it going? This is Ali. I'm going to be walking you through my Chatbridge Web K-12 learning application. Chatbridge was originally part of our curriculum at Gauntlet. It's an assignment with a focus on building a chat interface that embeds custom applets onto the chat interaction. So basically, as you go through a specific lesson, an applet gets triggered and you get to interact with that iframe within the chat experience. When I first built it, I really didn't think much about it. I wanted to build something that looked good and that would allow students to, like I just mentioned, go through a lesson, ask questions about the lesson, and use these applets as checkpoints in terms of performance. The original requirements included real-time AI chat with streaming responses, persistent conversation history, context about active third-party apps, and multi-turn conversations that span such app interactions. So that first iteration was fairly simple, not a whole lot to it. After maybe a week after I built it, I came across this fairly interesting tweet from Andrew Karpathy going over personalized knowledge bases. He basically breaks down how this specific architecture that he goes over might be the future of personalized AI interactions. AI agents might rely on personal knowledge bases from individuals to gather insights from such individuals, to carry out actions on the internet on behalf of such individuals. And I think it's a fairly interesting approach. It's highly localized. It has a great focus on privacy. And this might very well be the future in which AI leverages context from users for a better user experience. So right after I came across that, I thought, what if I went back to the Chatbridge application and I actually added a layer of personalized knowledge wikis for every student? I think that might have been the missing component from the beginning. I spoke at the beginning of this program with Patrick about customization in education. I thought that's something that is very difficult to get right in this space, and it's a very tricky balance, right? It's a very tricky balance between engagement, between cognitive load, and you have to be very mindful about how you implement if you actually want to get students to learn. I went back to a drawing board and I said, okay, let's figure out a way to embed this custom knowledge base for every student. And on top of that, let's make sure that the applets not just act as checkpoints for the students, but the applets are actually customized for the student learning style. The original approach that I wanted to go with was, let's make sure that every student gets a custom theme. And based off of that custom theme, the student can get lessons that are written with a focus on what the student is really interested and motivated around. Let's say it's dinosaurs or space explorers, whatever it is. After enough conversations with the super builder team, I came to realize this is not the right approach. Let's double down on the learning. Let's double down on what is going to facilitate learning for students. So I did a little bit of research. I came across a couple of really interesting methodologies for identifying learning types and learning styles for students. This specific one I found interesting mainly for its simplicity. 4 distinct learning styles: visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. And I added a fairly simple onboarding to the application that would allow me to stamp every student with a custom or a specific learning style. And based off of that, I created custom applets that reinforce that specific learning style. So I'm going to walk you through the teacher experience in a minute. But as you can see in here, I have 3 distinct applets per specific learning style. I have visual outlets, I have auditory outlets, I have learning kinesthetic outlets, and then read and write outlets. All of these reinforcing the specific learning style of every student. Now, the interesting part of all of this, it's at this point, I not only have applets that are customized to the learning style of the student and act as checkpoints of student performance, but all of the interactions of every student within the chat interface are feeding this knowledge base. So this is a sample knowledge base from a student that's already signed in. As you can see, it's got two distinct articles based on the lessons that it's covered. This particular one was on the topic of biology. Understanding level is developing what they know. Rick understand that cells are the building blocks of living beings. Misconceptions. What things Rick did not get right. App scores. What was the performance of Rick throughout the applet implementation? So as a professor, I can come in here and I can see a fairly quick summary of how my students are performing. But on top of that, I also get a simplified version of each student's wiki going over how they are performing. So this only covers observed pattern to keep certain level of privacy between the professor and the student. But at the same time, it not only provides the scoring for how each student is doing across the lessons, but a little bit of context as to what they're doing well and what they're not doing so well. So I think, yeah, in terms of the teacher dashboard, it's pretty straightforward. You get a dedicated view per section. You get a breakdown of all students at the same time and their overall progress and learning styles, and then you get a dedicated summary of each student that is being fed by the wiki itself. Now, as a student, it's obviously a very different experience. I get to access all of the different lessons included within my particular section, but at the same time, I get the dedicated wiki that is tracking all of my progress along the lesson. So that is fabulous on itself. I will say probably best would be to actually walk you through an onboarding session. So if I come in here, let's just restart this. Go back to the main application. I'm a student. I'm going to grab the specific code. I think there's some legislation about providing students with single sign-on authentication, but that's why we need to do it this way. So first thing that's going to happen, I'm going to get prompted to do some questions around my learning style based on the VARC methodology. And in this case, I answer based on my specific learning style. I'm an auditory learning style. The knowledge wiki gets fed that basic analysis. And then I get all of these lessons again. So I'm going to, let's do a history lesson. Why not? Jordan history lesson. Let's kickstart a history lesson, ancient civilizations. Okay, I already had a lesson that started. I'm around 7%, so I can just keep going in here. Let's see, that's right. One of the pharaoh's main responsibilities. Can you name the famous pharaoh or something they are known for? Tutankhamun. Let's see. Great choice. Tutankhamun, often referred to as King Tut, is one of the most famous pharaohs. He became a pharaoh at a young age. He is best known for his nearly intact tomb, discovered in 1922. Very cool. What do you think finding Tutankhamun's tomb was so important to our understanding of ancient Egypt? His connection to religion? I really don't know. That's a good point. Tutankhamun's tomb revealed a lot of ancient Egyptian religious beliefs, especially regarding the afterlife and the importance of burial practices. Now that we've connected some key ideas about pharaohs, are you ready to practice what you've learned? Yeah, let's do it. So, Audible applet is going to kickstart. Let's see.
The ruler of ancient Egypt. The ruler of ancient Egypt.
Okay.
Another role pharaohs held besides political ruler. Why grand tombs were built for pharaohs. One way pharaohs affected daily life. A sign of pharaoh power. Why Egyptians saw pharaohs as special.
As you can see, the applet is updated on the specific contents of the lesson. So these are not random questions that are being asked. These are questions that are being covered during the first portion of the lesson.
A river farmers depended on under pharaohs. A building made for a pharaoh's burial. A sign of pharaoh power. What many ordinary Egyptians did for work. A material scribes wrote on in ancient Egypt. What pharaohs collected from the people. Why pharaohs needed a large workforce. What archaeologists study to learn about pharaohs. A writing system used in ancient Egypt. Why pharaohs are still studied today. What the pharaoh's role shows about Egypt.
Okay, so we're done with the applet. That acts as our checkpoint, 81% so far. Pretty good. Pyramids are not just architectural wonders. Let's keep going because I will get a report card, and that report card is going to feed on the ultimate lesson rearrangement that we keep talking about. So are you ready to explore the pyramids? Yes. Let's just keep going. What do you already know about the pyramids? Mostly tomb and religious buildings. Now, here's a question for you. What do you think was important about the design of the pyramids in relation to astrology? That makes sense. For instance, many pyramids were aligned with the stars. Now let's check your understanding a bit more. Can you explain why the pyramids were significant to the pharaohs and their beliefs about the afterlife? They held religious significance and connected this world to the afterlife. Here's what I mean, I'm just... Okay, pyramids held immense religious significance as they were seen as a bridge between this world and the afterlife. Okay. Now, there you go. Are you want to practice? Yes. This is probably going to kickstart the next applet in queue. There we go. Question 1.
What was the main purpose of the pyramids?
Tombs for pharaohs. There we go.
What does the size of the pyramid suggest about ancient Egypt? What does the size of the pyramid suggest about ancient Egypt? Why do pyramids help historians today? Which idea best explains why pyramid building mattered politically?
Okay, 75%. Doing pretty good. Nice work. Are you ready to dive? Yes. Let's just keep going. It was a great source of food and sustenance for the Egyptians. Everything that really influenced their daily life. It was a source of sustenance. Of life. Let's put it that way. The real shape the culture. Yes. Let's practice. All of these is being this applet. It's a little review. But all of these, the cool thing about all of this is that this is automatically updating my wiki. So a wiki that has zero information about me before now has information about me going over 2 specific lessons, the biology and the ancient history, and it goes over my performance. It literally explains how I did on my applets, what my understanding of the pyramids is, of the pharaohs, and based off of this, it's going to build the next lesson. So I will get a report card outlining how I did across all of the different applets, and based off of all of this information that is being gathered, there will be a brand new button that says regenerate lesson that will focus strictly on the concepts that I did not get right the first time around. That's it for me. I really hope you appreciated this demo. Take it for a spin, try it yourself. I really think there's a future for personalized knowledge wiki in the edtech space for hyper customized lessons, and this was a really fun exercise. So thank you so much.